Debbie. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Today I'm working on butterfly. I'm focusing my attention on just this journal right now. It is this close to being ready to sew in. I've got all the pages ready to go. I've got pieces and pockets and things. I just have to sort of flip back through and see what else needs to be done once I make the two things, two more tags, I should say. There's a couple already made. And so I've got a couple ideas of what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do today. First off, I'm going to get this one started because it'll have to dry. I've got a tag cut here, and I want to put some texture paste on here through a stencil. But before I do, I want to create a color. I'm going to color the texture paste and then put it on here through a stencil, and then there'll probably be a butterfly on here. So I want to make sure that I get a blue that, that works. So I'm just going to put some texture paste out here, way more than I probably need. I'd rather have too much than not enough, and then get into a situation where I don't have enough to fill the stencil. I'm going to start with, these are acrylic paints that I'm going to add into the texture paste, and this is called Grayish Blue. So I'm going to start with that and see what that gets me. So I'm just going to mix this in, and you don't have to do this on the glass mat. I just thought it would be easier. This is actually really close to the color I'm kind of looking for, but the white, of course, is going to lighten it up. So so I can either put more of this color in, or I can add just another color. I've got a couple of them here with me. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of, this is phthalo blue. So I'm just going to put a tiny dot of that in, literally just a little. Hopefully that doesn't make it too dark, but I'll just keep playing with the color here until I get it where I want it. Okay, now I'm going to lay this stencil on. This is a Tim Holtz stencil. It's number THS161, and I'm focusing my attention on this little leaf pattern here. So I want to get that. Let's go down a little bit. That looks good. And here we go. I'm going to cover up most of this right here with a butterfly and leave this intact. So I'm going to stop there and set that aside and let it dry. I'm going to do some stamping, and I have a vision. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll find out. I'm going to take a borrow stamp from the Botanical Collage, and I'm interested in this butterfly in particular. Or, well, to see, do I want that one or do I want that one? I think I want this one. So let's pull this one out. And I'm going to, let me put it on a block. I had a block over here somewhere. Here's one. And I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and use my StazOn. This is Spiced Chai. And I'm really just stamping the butterfly here. I don't need to get ink on the whole stamp, but I mean, whatever I do will be fine. I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp out 3 butterflies, and then I'm going to cut them apart into 3 squares. and then put the 3 squares on here. So we'll see if this idea works. Just want to make sure I get a good solid butterfly there. Good, that's what I want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more of those. I'm going to cut 1 1/4 inch squares, 3 of them, taken from a different part of the stamp, each one. So I'm going to take one from the left side, one from the middle, and one from the right side. So what I need to do first is separate these so I don't accidentally chop one up. And okay, if I did it right, I think I did. I think I did. Okay, so now we have, we're going to do something like this. Down the side. Okay, so I want that to pop a little bit more, so I'm going to get some ink on the edge of this, and I want a fairly dark ink. So I'm going to use, where is it? I'm going to use walnut stain. Get that dark edge. Actually, before I do that, don't laugh, but I'm going to go ahead and put little tiny corners, rounded corners, just to soften it up a little bit. Okay, now let's get some dark edges on there. This will help define it, get it to stand out from the background a little bit more, so it's subtle, but okay, I've got my little squares sewn around, some of them a little wonky. Normally I would leave some strings, but because this is going to be sort of tight quarters, I'm going to go ahead and snip the strings pretty close here, and there'll be glue on the back, so they'll be fine. They shouldn't come out at all. Let's see, that's the left. I think this one's the middle one. Oh, one more. And they're not, my sewing is not straight. I don't ever even try anymore. It's just not going to happen, and that's okay. That's part of the charm. All right, and then this one goes here. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. All right, sewing done. I put a little bit of zigzaggy on there, just for fun, trimming off some of these on the back. And I'm going to leave the back as is. This is a piece of scrapbook paper. Oh, actually, let me ink the back. All right, here we go. All right, now what I'm going to do is put a eyelet up in the top. And then this little tag will be done. There we go. That's cute. I like it. It's not straight, but that's okay. That's okay. I like it. It's cute. That goes there. Yeah. I think I'm going to come back and put some lace right here on top of this yellow because that's sort of standing out to me. But we'll worry about that later. Okay. That's where that goes. And then, so you can kind of see we're starting, I'm good space-wise. I've got plenty of room, but I am starting to get a little chunky. So let's see how this is doing. This is a little bit bluer than I wanted it. It always does turn out that way for me. So I may just put some ink on top of this, but before I do anything, I want to make sure it's dry. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that with the heat for just a second. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ink and I'm going to try to tone down this. Get some ink directly on that. Just try to tone that down a little bit. That blue is much bluer than I wanted it to be, but I'm not going to redo it. It's not that bad. It's not so bad that I can't. Okay, and then let me get some. I'm kind of preempt. I'll have to re-ink this probably when I get it done, but I just want to help gauge what that ink is going to do to that. See, I like that better already. Okay, I got her done. I used Vintage Beeswax, the baked texture from Seth Apter. In the color is Vintage Beeswax, and so it puts a yellow tint to that. So I got it. So it ended up being a little. Butterflies ended up being a little green, but I'm okay with it. I like it. Now let me see if I can remember where this goes. I think it goes back here. In this one, perhaps. Let's see. Yeah. I'm going to tuck that right here. And we've got the blue going on and the butterfly. I mean, it works. It's fine. Yeah. I may, actually, you know what? I might like this tucked in here better. I think I do. I think I do. I like the way that darkens with the mica tile. Let's see, let me ink this. This is an image that was in a butterfly book I have, and I just glued it onto some of the cardstock so it's just a little journaling card. You can write on the back, it's light enough. And so it was a pretty cool image with the butterflies, and I thought it went well with this journal, so I just did that. Dirty that up a little. There we go. It's pretty, it's cool. It's almost like layers of tracing paper with illustrations of butterflies. It's from like an observation journal. And yeah, it's just a neat, like I said, it's just a neat image. So I'm gonna put that in this tuck spot back here that is a little slide with mica tiles in it. And the little butterfly guy is he's between the mica tiles. So I'm just gonna slip that in like that. And I think I like that one. Okay, I've got a little pocket tucked back here because I wanted to put this guy here. So let me ink him up. There we go. So that tag will fit in there. I like that. I like that. So let's do that. Let's put this guy here. And then this journal will be ready to set aside, ready to sew in the signatures. And so what I'm gonna do is get all of the journals, all 4 of them, ready to sew in the signatures, and I'm just gonna do a massive signature sewing party. So that's the plan anyway. And so now out of the 4, I have 1 ready for that stage. I had originally hoped to get all of these done by the end of November. I'm not convinced yet with the holiday and everything else going on that that's going to be possible. I've got a lot of activities coming up on upcoming weekends, and so I just don't know if I'm going to be able to, although I'm going to continue to try. And then that tag I just made can slip right on in there. And just those blues are sticking out, and I like that. Plenty of room for it. I like that. Okay. That goes here, and this signature, and this is this one. All right, we're gonna do a quick gut check here. Now what I'll do before I sew in the signatures is I will go in and I may do some stamping on some pages, you know, just a little bit here and there. But otherwise, this journal is ready, and she's the perfect thickness. So that worked out really well. And then also after I sew in the signatures, I'll come in and I'll probably put metal corners on it, some kind of a closure, my end papers and all that I do after I sew in my signatures. So yeah, she's ready to set aside. So I'm going to set her aside, and there are some pieces that I have left. They may tuck here and there. The mixed media card, if she fits, will sit inside either the front or the back cover. And see, already you can see that raises it up quite a bit because it is pretty thick. So a lot of times I'll include a mixed media tag and just include it, but not actually put it in the journal. So we will see about that. This journal is going to go sit on the shelf until I am ready to sew it all in. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back. Bye-bye.